Hello, this video is going to be your walkthrough or how-to video for the Atoms Builder PhET assignment for summer school. So what we're going to do first is you need to obviously navigate to this page. It's the Week 1 Atoms folder. You can find it right here. Once you go inside, you're going to click on the Atoms Builder PhET assignment. Here, you're going to find your assignment that looks like this, and there are 3 sections: building the atom, understanding the symbol, and playing the game. I'm going to walk you through all 3 sections. I'm going to go through a few of the answers, but just keep in mind I'm not going to be giving you all the answers on this video. It's just to show you how to do the assignment so you can go through and do this on your own, which will be overall much faster. So the first thing you want to do is you want to click on this link. This link is going to take you to the PhET Atom Builder, and you're going to start by clicking on the atom section right here. And this is what you should see. So it says click on the atom tile, answer the questions below. So first thing we're looking for is what particles go in the nucleus and what particles go on the outside of the atom. So you have three particles. We talked about these yesterday in the notes. So if you aren't sure what these things are, go back in the notes and take a look. So you have protons, neutrons, and electrons. You drag and drop these onto the atom, which is the dotted lines in the X, and see which ones go where. The X represents the nucleus, and the blue dotted lines represent the orbitals or the energy levels. So if you go ahead and just drag them up, if I try dragging the protons onto the dotted lines, it flies into the middle. And then I can do the same with the neutrons. All right, we'll stick in the middle, and the electrons stick to the outside. So on the inside of the atoms, you have the protons and the neutrons, which are color-coded. So you have red is the proton, gray is the neutron, and blue is the electron. As you can see, where everything is. You have the protons and the neutrons in the center, and you have the electrons on the outer rings. So that answers your first 2 questions. So what particles go in the nucleus of the atom? You would say protons and neutrons. Particles go on the outside, you would say electrons, like that. And this is how you go through and fill in your answers. Next, which particles can change the name of the element, which particles can change the mass, and which particles can change the charge of the atom. So you want the name of the element, the mass of the element, and the charge of the element is what we're looking to change here. As you go through, you're looking for what can change the name. And all you're going to be doing is adding these particles to the atom builder up top. You're going to want to make sure that you click open the net charge and the mass number here so that you can see what changes. So if I add a proton, all right, what changed? So you can see 3 different things change. 1, the element went from hydrogen to helium. See? So it changed the name of the element. 2, the charge changed. The charge went from 0 to +1. Finally, the mass number changed here. You can see that down here. So you have 3 things changing. You have the name, the charge, and the mass number. So when you go back to here, what particle can change the name? Proton. Proton should go here, and protons should go at number 5 as well. But we're not done, so make sure you pay attention that we're not done yet. We need to change all 3 particles. So next you're going to try the neutrons. I'm going to drop a neutron in the middle, and notice that the name doesn't change. The charge stays +1, but the mass number increases. So you're going to put mass number down here. So protons and neutrons so far should be here. Protons should go here, and then which particles can charge the atom should go there. All right, and then we will finally play with the electrons. If I drag and drop an electron on here, you can see that only one thing changed. So the charge is the only thing that changed here. So that's the only thing it's going to affect. The electron does not affect the mass number and does not change the name of the atom. So that should be here. So quick recap. Names, only the protons. The mass, protons and the neutrons. And the charge can only be changed by the protons and electrons. And that's the first section. It's that simple. All right. All you're doing is drag and dropping these things on there and talking about them. So next, I showed you what to do. So at the bottom, you can see that I circled this part here. So I'm going to go to the bottom, click on Simple, and that's where I'm at. So the couple things you need to know is what does the lower corner represent, what does the upper left corner represent, and what does the upper right corner represent. So you're going to have this symbol over here, and you have bottom left, and upper right. So you will drag and drop one of each particle on there and see what changes. So the lower left position changed when you added a proton. The upper left position changed when you added a proton or a neutron. And the upper right position changed when you added a proton or an electron. All right, so if you remember back to the previous section, you saw these symbols there before. So you can go back and look to see what changes there. Okay, so then label what you think those are based on what changes as you add protons, neutrons, and electrons. All right, so finally, what that should do is that's going to help you understand what to do there, which you will use on the game below. So finally, the game section is here. You're going to click on the game tile at the bottom, and you're going to need to use your screenshots in order to submit them here. So remember how when we started class, I told you guys about screenshots and how important that would be. You take a screenshot by doing Windows key, Shift S, and that will take a screenshot of what you want. You're going to play each game here below, and you need to get a 7 out of 10 or better. Otherwise, you have to replay it. So I don't want you getting like a 1 star and then submitting that. So you at least need 3 stars or better in order for it to count. Okay? So you can see I have an example here for you. So I'll do a couple games as an example. So I'm going to click game at the bottom. Let's go ahead to this first one. And then you can find it's asking you to find the element. So this element has 1 red, 1 gray, and 1 blue. Now, if you forgot what those are, what's nice is you can navigate between each box and activity at the bottom without losing your spot. So if I want to go over here and see what those things are, I can. So I can see protons are red, neutrons are gray, and electrons are blue. I have 1 proton and 1 neutron and 1 electron. So what I can do is I can build that. So 1 proton, 1 neutron, 1 electron. So this is a hydrogen atom. And you can see up in the top right corner, you have the periodic table, and then it shows you in red highlighted what element that is and where it's located. So you can go back to the game and then select hydrogen up here. Is it neutral or an ion? Neutral atoms have no charge. Ions have a plus charge or a minus charge. So if you don't know off the top of your head, you can go back and look, and you can see that it says neutral atom. So then I can go here and select neutral atom, click check, and I got 2 points. Move on to the next one. So it's going to ask you for 10 protons, 10 neutrons, 10 electrons. All you need to know is that it has 9 protons, which identifies the element, The one with 9 protons is fluorine. And then you can pair the electrons to the protons. If there are more electrons, then it's going to be negative. If there are more protons, then it's going to be positive. Both of those are ions. So since the proton number and the electron number are not equal, it's going to be an ion, and you keep it moving. All right, same one, 1 and 1, and this is 1 and 1, so it's neutral. This is oxygen, and I got not neutral because there's different number of electrons and protons. There we go. Last one, 10 protons, 10 electrons would be here. Since electrons and protons are equal, it is going to be neutral. Okay, so I hit next. There's my score. So you can take a screenshot of this part here or the next screen. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this one. Remember, you hit Windows Shift S. Take a screenshot of this. And then I'm going to come back and paste it here. So then I want to know what rules and facts you need to get the questions correct. So these are like some things that were helpful to you as you went through it. So for example, stuff you can get this from your notes. If protons and electrons are not equal, then it's an ion. Everyone. Another thing you could have applied here is that protons determine identity of the atom. All right, and things like that, and the mass is made up. That's the next one. So this is what I'm looking for in this one. So what were like some helpful information that you can get from your notes that helped you complete it? So game 2, you're going to be focusing on the masses and charges. In game 3, you're going to be focusing on these symbols and the squares that we have. I'm going to do a quick tutorial of game 3 because I understand that might be a little bit confusing for some people. So here, now in the bottom right corner, all right, we're looking at sulfur. Okay, sulfur has the number 16. So you see how protons matches the number 16. So this is a hint. That's what that means. In the bottom right corner is the number of protons and the identity of the atom. In the top right corner is going to be your mass. Remember, the mass is the protons plus the neutrons. So if you have 16 protons and 19 neutrons, you need to add them together, right? And then you can increase this. All right, so 16 plus 19. All right, if you're stuck, you can use your calculator just to confirm it. That's how you know. So the protons plus the neutrons will equal the mass, and that goes in the upper left corner. In the upper right corner is the overall charge of the atom. So you do the protons minus the electrons. So that would be 16 minus 18, which will give you -2, which is why it's up in the right corner. So when I click check, I get it right. All right, and then the next one. All right, so again, protons plus neutrons. So I have protons, 1, no neutrons, so the answer is going to be 1. So for charge, remember, you do protons minus electrons. So 12 minus 10 is 2. So you're going to go up 2, and that's going to give you your charge. Protons minus electrons. I have 1 proton, 0 electrons. 1 minus 0 is positive 1. And then in the bottom left corner, remember that is the atomic number. So the atomic number is the how many protons there are. Since you can see, there's only one proton. That's your answer. Excuse me. So, one proton, one, check, and you get it right. So I'm gonna give out some extra credit here if possible. If you get 5 stars on all three, I'll give you extra credit. Or if you get past each level with 3 or more stars and get 3 or more stars on the question mark one, which is just random between all three, then I'll give you extra credit as well. So you can see this random one will give you random elements to make and check. Okay, so that's how you play the game section. I highly recommend you go back and rewatch parts of this video that were confusing to you so you get it right. This is something that we've done during the year, so that might help remind you of what the answers are. So make sure you're trying your best at this. Remember, I can't give you a grade if you don't try. If you try and we have a large problem with this, I can go over it with the class later. But I need effort here, and this video does more than show you how to complete this assignment. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me, and I will be glad to help.